They hunted gators by day and lived by their own rules by night. But not all swamp people walked the straight and narrow. Since 2010, Swamp People has taken us deep into the heart of Louisiana's Atchafalaya Swamp, following the lives of Cajun alligator hunters as they face off with danger and triumph alike. The show celebrates tradition, grit, and the untamed spirit of the Bayou. But not every cast member's story has had a happy ending. Behind the fame, some were pulled into darkness. Unexpected deaths, shocking arrests, and scandals that shook the fanbase to its core. Who ended up behind bars? Who paid the ultimate price? From heartbreaking losses to stunning revelations, join us as we uncover the truth about the swamp people you thought you knew. RJ and J. Paul Molinaire weren't just stars of Swamp People, they were legends. The dynamic father-son duo brought over 60 years of combined experience hunting the most fearsome alligators in the swamp. RJ, a world champion arm wrestler, and J. Paul, a Golden Gloves boxer, joined the show in season 2. Their fierce energy and deep Native American heritage quickly made them fan favorites. But their legacy took a turn in 2013. On August 8, 2013, the Molinaires were involved in a violent altercation outside Roland's Mini Mart in Bourg, Louisiana. What started as a road rage incident escalated when they allegedly followed a 24-year-old man to the convenience store and assaulted him using a beer bottle. The victim sustained a black eye, a swollen jaw, and a large knot on his forehead. Arrest warrants were issued. Both RJ and J. Paul surrendered, were booked on charges of aggravated battery, posted bond, and awaited court proceedings. In court, they pleaded not guilty. Their legal team argued they were the real victims, claiming the other man had thrown a beer bottle at their vehicle, sparking the conflict. Attorneys called for a full investigation into all parties involved. Despite the gravity of the case, RJ and J. Paul continued to appear on Swamp People for several seasons afterward. No public conviction was recorded, and they seemingly avoided jail time. However, in recent years, both have kept a low profile, limiting their involvement with the show. Randy Edwards' story is one of legacy and tragic loss. A son of swamp royalty, he was born into a family of seasoned alligator hunters, the son of Junior and Teresa Edwards and brother of fellow cast member Willie Edwards. Since the show's debut in 2010, Randy had showcased his expertise in the Atchafalaya River Basin, proudly upholding his family's reputation. But in a tragic turn, Randy's life was cut short, not in the swamp, but on the road. On September 15, 2018, Randy died in a car crash at just 35 years old. Driving his 2002 Chevrolet Silverado in the early morning hours through Iberville Parish, he failed to navigate a left-hand curve, causing his vehicle to veer off the road, strike a utility pole, and overturn. Randy was ejected from the vehicle and pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities stated he was not wearing a seatbelt and suspected impairment as a contributing factor. Toxicology results were never publicly released. His family announced the devastating news via Facebook, requesting privacy during their mourning. Fans across the country paid tribute to the beloved hunter, who left behind a wife and 3 young children. Randy's passing remains one of the most heartbreaking losses in Swamp People history. Roger Rivers burst onto the scene in season 5, quickly becoming a standout for his fearless nature and unmatched determination. Hailing from Zwolle, Louisiana, Rivers was revered for going toe-to-toe with the biggest gators, including a jaw-dropping encounter where a 12-foot-7-inch beast tossed him from his boat. His survival and capture of that gator made him a star. Off-screen, Rivers was clear that hunting wasn't just for sport, it was a way of life. "I don't do this for the money. I do it to live off the land. It's what I do and I love it," he once said. But that image began to crack in 2017. In May of that year, Rivers was arrested on multiple wildlife violations. The charges were extensive: 6 counts of illegally selling alligator snapping turtles, 3 counts of selling reptiles without a license, 3 counts of unlicensed alligator hunting, and several others, including illegal sales of alligator meat and deer meat, and 2 counts of marijuana possession. The charges turned the once respected hunter into a symbol of wildlife exploitation. Then in September 2022, his reputation took another hit when he was arrested for residential contractor fraud, accused of accepting $6,000 for a job he never completed. The repeated run-ins with the law transformed his public image, tarnishing the legacy he once proudly defended. Though River still clings to his swamp lifestyle, saying he'll do it till I die, his story stands as a stark warning of how easily one's passion can be corrupted when the law is ignored. Not all of Swamp People's drama was left in the swamp. Joe LaFont, known to millions as Trapper Joe, was a prominent figure in the show's early seasons. With his stepson, Tommy Chauvin, by his side, Trapper Joe embodied the Cajun spirit, bold, experienced, and fiercely devoted to gator hunting. But off camera, Joe's life was plagued by violence. In June 2012, while staying at the Buena Vista Palace Hotel near Disney World in Florida, Joe was arrested for domestic violence. Witnesses claimed he punched his girlfriend, shook her violently, and tried to burn her with a lit cigarette. The altercation was reportedly fueled by alcohol. Although charges were not pursued, his girlfriend refused to press them. The incident left a dark stain. In May 2015, Trapper Joe faced another arrest in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana. His live-in girlfriend accused him of pushing her to the floor during an argument, fracturing 2 of her ribs. Embarrassed, she avoided medical attention at first, but later had the injuries confirmed. Again, she declined to press charges, but the case was still sent to the district attorney. These incidents ultimately led to Joe's quiet departure from the show after 2016. His absence was deeply felt, and the allegations remain an uncomfortable footnote in the story of a once beloved cast member. Nicholas Payne's time on Swamp People was brief, but his exit was unforgettable. An apprentice to Bruce Mitchell, Payne had a promising start, but that promise unraveled after a violent run-in with law enforcement in 2011. On September 23rd, deputies from the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office responded to a disturbance at Payne's residence in Pearl River, Louisiana. Locked out of his home, Payne was reportedly causing a scene. When officers arrived, the situation spiraled. Payne struck a female deputy in the chest as she attempted to issue him a citation for disturbing the peace. The incident ended Payne's run on the show and landed him in serious legal trouble. While his time on Swamp People was limited, his story remains a reminder of how quickly personal turmoil can end even the most promising careers. Following a violent altercation, Payne fled into the nearby woods. In response, law enforcement deployed a K-9 unit. The dog successfully tracked him down, and during the apprehension, it bit Payne, resulting in injuries that required immediate medical attention at a local hospital. Subsequent investigations revealed that Payne had an outstanding warrant in Florida due to his failure to appear in court on charges related to the possession of drug paraphernalia. As a result of this series of events, Payne was hit with multiple charges, including disturbing the peace, battery of a police officer, resisting arrest, and being a fugitive from another state. His bail was set at $10,000, which he failed to post, landing him behind bars for an extended period. This incident marked the definitive end of his involvement with Swamp People. A representative from the History Channel later confirmed that Payne had not been involved with the show since the conclusion of the previous season's filming and declined to provide any further comment. Meanwhile, Troy Landry, affectionately known as King of the Swamp and a fan favorite for his deep roots in Louisiana's alligator hunting tradition, found himself facing legal trouble in September 2024. On September 19th, the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, LDWF, carried out an undercover sting operation at Lake Powell in St. Mary Parish after receiving a tip about unauthorized hunting lines marked with white flags. Agents set up surveillance and soon observed Troy approaching the area with a 28-year-old woman and an unidentified cameraman. The woman pulled in a line that had a live 7 to 8 foot alligator attached, prompting Troy to spear and secure the animal before loading it onto their boat. When agents confronted the group, Troy initially claimed they were merely scouting the area and had not harvested any gators. However, when presented with surveillance evidence, he admitted to taking the alligator without the proper tags for that specific zone. He also confessed to cutting loose a previously killed alligator from his line earlier that day, an animal which was later found floating in the lake with the same type of line he had used. As a result, Troy received 2 citations, one for failing to tag an alligator upon harvesting and another for the untagged dead alligator. Each offense carries penalties of up to $950 in fines and up to 120 days in jail. Authorities also seized his boat, engine, and the improperly tagged gator. When he later appeared in court for a civil restitution hearing, Troy declined to comment, saying only, "I got a speeding ticket also last month, but I have nothing to say about it." His daughter-in-law, Lindsay Landry, downplayed the matter, referring to it as just a ticket and expressing surprise at the public reaction. Chase Landry, another prominent cast member, also found himself embroiled in controversy back in 2016. On September 2nd of that year, while navigating Bayou chain in Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, Chase reportedly believed that a nearby shrimp boat was moving at a dangerous speed and could potentially capsize his small skiff, which was loaded with alligator carcasses from a recent hunt. In a moment of panic, he discharged a firearm at the approaching boat in an attempt to deter it. The shot allegedly hit a plastic gasoline canister on the shrimp boat's cabin, causing a fuel leak. The shrimp boat operator, Wayne Moyen, later stated that he was at least 250 yards away from Chase's skiff at the time and posed no threat. Following the incident, the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office launched an investigation. Chase was later located and arrested during a traffic stop in neighboring St. Mary Parish. He admitted to firing the shot, claiming he feared for his safety. He was charged with the illegal discharge of a firearm and booked into jail. The case sparked significant discussion online and in the media, especially due to Chase's connection with swamp people, and raised questions about the risks hunters face on the water. Mitchell Gist, a beloved member of the show known for his close bond with his brother Glenn and his deep connection to traditional swamp life, tragically passed away on May 14, 2012, just 4 days shy of his 48th birthday. He and Glenn had earned the admiration of fans by showcasing an authentic, self-reliant lifestyle built on hunting, fishing, and living off the land. On the morning of his death, Mitchell was working on a houseboat near Bell River when he suddenly collapsed. Although initial reports suggested a seizure, it was later confirmed that he died of a heart attack. Efforts were made to revive him, including CPR, but he was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The History Channel issued a heartfelt statement expressing their sorrow, saying, "We are extremely saddened to report that our friend and beloved member of the Swamp People family, Mitchell Gist, has passed away. His passing was especially poignant, as he died doing what he loved." Tommy Chauvin, affectionately known as Trigger Tommy, was recognized for his daring hunting style and close working relationship with his stepfather, Joe Lafont. Despite his rugged persona, Tommy narrowly escaped death not once, but twice. In May 2012, Tommy and Joe were involved in a serious 5-car collision near the Arkansas-Louisiana border. While they were fortunate to walk away unharmed, other victims suffered serious injuries. Tommy later credited the presence of his boat in the vehicle with shielding him from the worst of the impact. However, a far more devastating event occurred in July 2019. Tommy suffered catastrophic injuries in a blast-related accident. The explosion led to the traumatic amputation of his right hand and thumb, ruptured his eardrums, damaged his eyes, and left him with numerous injuries across his chest and arms. Despite undergoing 2 surgeries to salvage his hand, the damage was irreversible. The incident ended his career as a boat shed builder and forced him to miss the gator hunting season. A GoFundMe campaign was launched to assist with his medical bills and help support his family during his recovery. Eventually, Tommy made the difficult decision to retire from hunting and step away from swamp people during the COVID-19 pandemic, choosing instead to focus on his health and family. Dusty Crumb, known to fans as the Wild Man and a fearless python hunter featured on Swamp People, Serpent Invasion, also had a near-death experience that shook the fan base. In November 2021, Dusty was riding in a truck on Florida's I-77 when a tire blowout caused the trailer to lose control. The vehicle fishtailed and flipped 3 times. During the violent rollover, Dusty's leg was thrown out of the shattered window and crushed under the vehicle's weight. Incredibly, as the truck continued flipping, Dusty managed to pull his leg back inside the cab and, using his shirt as a tourniquet, fought to stop the bleeding while awaiting emergency responders. He was airlifted to Lee Memorial Hospital in Fort Myers and underwent 5 surgeries to repair extensive damage to his leg and knee. Doctors were initially unsure if his leg could be saved. He spent nearly a month in the hospital and began physical therapy shortly after. Despite the trauma, Dusty remained resilient and determined to return to the wilderness. By 2023, he was back in action on Swamp People, Serpent Invasion, continuing his fight against Florida's invasive python population. Even Tyler, the loyal hunting dog of Bruce Mitchell, holds a special place in the show's legacy. Known as Tyler the Swamp Dog, he was more than a pet. He was a beloved member of the cast. Adopted from a local shelter as a gift for Bruce's daughter Janice, Tyler eventually became Bruce's constant companion on hunts. When Tyler passed away in 2014, it deeply affected both the cast and fans. Bruce shared a heartfelt message on Facebook, expressing gratitude for the 13 years they had spent together and mourning the loss of his steadfast partner. Over the years, many members of the Swamp People cast have encountered dramatic, sometimes tragic turns, whether due to legal trouble, near-death experiences, or untimely death. From the iconic Troy Landry and his legal run-ins to heartfelt farewells like Mitchell Gist and Tyler the Swamp Dog, their stories remind us of the dangers and devotion that come with life in the Bayou. So, who is your favorite Swamp People cast member? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.